Hello friends, welcome back to Philo Chess. In this video, we shall learn how to win in chess using the combination of skewer. We shall learn what are skewers, how to identify opportunity of a skewer tactics, and how to execute the tactics of skewer. So what are skewers? We have learned that pins are those situations where a less valuable piece shields a more valuable piece from attack via a line or diagonal. For instance, in the position here, black has a rook on f6 and a king on g7, both of them on the same diagonal, and by playing bishop to d4, white basically pins the rook. It cannot move because moving it will expose the king. So this is the typical example of a pin which we have already learned in the previous video. Now skewers are exactly opposite of pins. In case of pin, a less valuable piece protects a more valuable piece. But in case of skewers, it's just the other way around. For example, in this position, if black has the king ahead of the rook, even in that case, white could win simply by playing bishop to d4 check. And if the king moves, the rook will be lost behind the king. So this is a position where white can execute skewer, and the previous position is a position where white can execute pin. Both are good enough to win. Just remember, pins are those situations where we have a less valuable piece in front, more valuable piece at the behind. In skewer, we have a more valuable piece on the front and a less valuable piece behind. They are very simple. And how to identify opportunities of skewer? Well, it's very similar to that of pins. In case of pins, we have learned that we have to first locate or identify which pieces are on same line, diagonal or ranks, and whether they are vulnerable to attacks or not. In the same manner, even in the case of skewer, we have to identify which pieces are on same lines or diagonals, and accordingly we have to attack those pieces. Now let's go through some examples of skewer and learn how tactics of skewers can be executed. Here we have many pieces on the board. It is black to play and gain advantage. I'll flip the board for your convenience. Yeah, this is black to play. Black will gain advantage by using the tactics of skewer. The first thing is we have to identify which pieces are on same lines or diagonals and which of them are vulnerable to attacks. Now, if you look at the position carefully, well, there are many pieces, for instance, on the back rank, which are on the same line, but they are not vulnerable to attacks. Black cannot attack these pieces by any means. Now, the other pieces which are on the same line or diagonal, we can immediately see the rook on e1 and the queen on c3 are on the same diagonal. Okay, this is the diagonal on which these two pieces are located. And black, well, black can actually attack the queen by placing his bishop to b4. Now we have a situation of skewer where the queen is ahead. Queen is more valuable than the rook. The queen is ahead and the rook is behind. So that will force white to move the queen, and then black can capture the rook with his bishop, resulting in an advantageous position because Well, a bishop and rook will be exchanged. Black will be an exchange up. In the next position, we have a situation where it's very similar. Again, it's black to play and win. Well, you may guess black's next move and then tally your answer with the solution. Well, with black to move, the best move for black is visible. That is, the queen and the rook both are on the same diagonal. Well, this is the diagonal, and the diagonal can in fact be attacked with the bishop by playing bishop e6. White moves the queen and black wins the rook on a2. So this was another very simple example of winning by skewer. Now, finally, this is a slightly challenging example of how white can win. Yes, how white can win from this position, although white is a queen down. He only has a bishop in return for black's queen, but white can surprisingly win in this position with the help of tactics called skewer. Now, in order to test what you have learned from today's lesson, today's short video, this is a challenging position for you to solve. Think for a while, pause the video, and then match your answer. Well, white has a fantastic move which will result in skewer. That fantastic move is white can play f4, check. The move f4 is actually a double attack or a fork. With the pawn, white is attacking the king as well as the queen. Now black has an option of capturing the pawn. He can capture with the king or he can capture with the queen. If he captures with the king, white will play bishop to d2 check. You can see both the king and the queen are on the same diagonal, and bishop makes full use of the opportunity. He plays bd2 check and wins the queen in the next move. After exchanging the queen for the bishop, black may be forced to play here, and after the exchange of queens and bishops, both sides have king, but white has an extra pawn, and especially the pawn on a3 is, well, a dangerous pawn which can move ahead, and white can in fact play a4, and black king will not be able to stop the pawn. So that is a very interesting way to win for white. Now, what about black capturing the pawn with a queen? Now, white has the same skewer but from a different diagonal. You see here, black's king and queen are once again on the same diagonal, but this time it's this diagonal. And white bishop has to go to c7 in order to exploit the weakness on that diagonal. Once again, we have a similar position. Black will win back the queen by giving his bishop and gain a winning position. So this was a fantastic example of the tactics of skewer. Remember, skewers are reverse spins. And well, with this example, we end the video today. I hope you learned a lot about skewers and you will apply skewers in your practical games. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.